हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल कंप्यूटर मास्टर ज्ञान में आपका स्वागत है गाइस। इस वीडियो में हम सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग के कुछ टॉपिक कवर करने वाले हैं, जिसमें हम सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोसेस मॉडल, सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोसेस जेनरिक प्रोसेस मॉडल, फ्रेमवर्क, एक्टिविटी टास्क सेट एंड प्रोसेस पैटर्न, प्रोसेस लाइफ साइकिल, प्रिस्क्रिप्टिव प्रोसेस मॉडल, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट, कंपोनेंट बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट, एक्सेप्ट ओरिएंटेड सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट एंड फॉर्मल मेथड, ये हम इस वीडियो में कवर करने वाले हैं। तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोसेस। What is software process? A software process is the set of activity and associate outcomes that produce a software product. Software engineering mostly carry out these activities. These are four key process activities which are common to all software process. These activities are software specification, the functionality of the software and constraint on its operation must be defined. Next is software development. The software is meet the requirement must be produced. Software validation. The software must be validated to ensure that it does what the customer want. Fourth number, software evolution. The software must evolve to meet changing client need. Okay. There are 5 generic process framework activity. First, communication, planning, modeling और construction और development. Okay. Planning में क्या करते हो आप? The software development start with the communication between customer and developer. प्लानिंग में आप एस्टिमेशन, शेड्यूलिंग फॉर प्रोजेक्ट डेवलपमेंट एंड ट्रैकिंग करते हो। मोल्डिंग में मोल्डिंग कंसिस्ट ऑफ कंप्लीट रिक्वायरमेंट एनालिसिस एंड द डिजाइन ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट लाइक एल्गोरिथम, फ्लो चार्ट एटसेट्रा. The algorithm is the step-by-step solution of the problem and the flow chart show a complete flow diagram of a program. नेक्स्ट देखिए कंस्ट्रक्शन. कंस्ट्रक्शन कंसिस्ट ऑफ कोड जनरेशन एंड द टेस्टिंग पार्ट. कोडिंग पार्ट implements the design details using an appropriate planning programming language. Next, testing is to check whether the flow of coding is correct or not. Next, testing also check that the program provides desired output. Development step consists of delivering the product to the customer and take feedback from them. If the customer wants some correctness or demand for the additional capabilities, then the change is required for improvement in the quantity of the software. नेक्स्ट है टास्क सेट एंड प्रोसेस पैटर्न. इसमें क्या होगा? प्रोसेस पैटर्न रिजल्ट ऑफ अप्लाइंग अब्स्ट्रैक्शन टू रिकर्सिव प्रोसेसर एंड प्रोसेस components. Create means for developing methodology through the composition of appropriate pattern. Instance reflect the state of the practice and are based on well established defined concept. नेक्स्ट है आपकी प्रोसेस पैटर्न. प्रोसेस पैटर्न क्या होता है गाइस? The first record reference to the term process pattern was made by Copeland in his landmark paper in 1994. Copeland defined process pattern as the pattern of activity within an organization and hence within its project. Almost all his patterns are relatively fine, gaining technique for exercising better organization and management practice, do not constitute a comprehensive, coherent whole for defining a software development process. Software development process define a process pattern as a pattern which describes a proven successful approach and or series of activity for proven successful approach and or series of activity of development software define the object oriented process pattern as a collection of general technique action and or task activities for DLB BJ developing project or ITD FT oriented software. Software development life cycle SDLC is a process used by the software industry to design, develop and test high quantity software. The SDLC aims to produce a high quality software that meets or exceed customer expectations, reach completion within times and cost estimated. नेक्स्ट देखिए SDLC इज द एक्रोनिम ऑफ SDLC की फुल फॉर्म क्या है सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट लाइफ साइकिल इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस SDLC is a framework defining tasks performed at each step in the software development process. ISO IEC 12207 is an international standard for software lifecycle process. It aims to be the standard that defines all the tasks required for developing and maintaining software. जैसे आपका ही देखो SDLC में प्लानिंग पहले डिफाइन डिजाइन बिल्डिंग टेस्टिंग डेवलपमेंट ओके पहले आप प्लानिंग करते हो फिर डिफाइन करते हो डिजाइन बिल्डिंग टेस्टिंग डेवलपमेंट इस तरह से करते हो ये मैंने आपको यहाँ लिख के दिया है कि प्लानिंग एंड रिक्वायरमेंट एनालिसिस में क्या होता है रिक्वायरमेंट सेकंड है डिफाइन रिक्वायरमेंट सेकंड स्टेज पर आपका SRS डॉक्यूमेंट क्रिएट होता है उसके बाद डेवलपमेंट मार्केटिंग ये सब आप पढ़ लेना देन नेक्स्ट द सॉफ्टवेयर फ्रेमवर्क एक्टिविटी आर कैरी आउट रिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द प्रोसेस मॉडल चूजन बाय द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कम्युनिकेशन प्लानिंग मोल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन और डेवलपमेंट उसके बाद देयर आर द 3 टाइप ऑफ प्रिस्क्रिप्टिव प्रोसेस मॉडल द वाटरफॉल मॉडल इंक्रीमेंट प्रोसेस मॉडल एंड रेड मॉडल ये क्या होता है ये देखिए द water model is also called a linear sequential model or classical life cycle model. In this model, each phase is fully completed before the beginning of the next phases. This model is used for the small project. In this model, feedback is taken after each phase to ensure that the project is on the right path. Testing part starts only after the development is completed. जैसे कम्युनिकेशन के बाद प्लानिंग के पास मॉडलिंग के पास कंस्ट्रक्शन के बाद डेवलपमेंट एडवांटेज क्या है द वाटरफॉल मॉडल इज सिंपल एंड इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड इम्प्लीमेंट एंड यूज ऑल द रिक्वायरमेंट आर नोन एज बिगिनिंग ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट हेंस इट इज इजी टू मैनेज इट अवॉइड्स ओवरलैपिंग of phases become each phase is completed at once. This model works for the small project because the requirements are understood very well. This model is preferred for those choose project where the quality is more important as compared to the cost of the project. Disadvantage of the waterfall model. This model is not good for complex and object-oriented project. It is a poor model for long project. The problem with this model are uncovered until the software testing. The amount of risk is high. Then उसके बाद increment process model. This means the increment model combines the element of waterfall model and they are applied in the iteration fashion. Iterative fashion. The first increment in this model is generally a core project. Each increment builds the product and submit it is to customer for any suggested modification. The next increment implements on the customer suggestion and add additional requirement in the previous increment. This process is repeated until the product is finishing. For example, the word processing software is developed using the increment model. Advantage of increment model. This model is flexible because the cost of development is low and initiate product delivery is faster. Next, it is easier to test and debugging during the smaller iteration. Third, the working software generation quickly and easily during the software lifecycle. Fourth, the customer can respond to its functionalities after every incremental. Next, and disadvantage of the incremental model. The cost of the final product may cross the cost estimated initially. This model required a very clear or complete planning. The planning of a design is required before the whole system is broken into small increments. The demand of customer for the additional functionalities after every increment creates problem during the system architecture. आगे देखिए RAD RAD model. RAD is a rapid application development model. Using the RAD model, software produced is developed in the short period of time. The initiate activities start with the communication between customer and development. Planning depends upon the initiate requirement and then the requirements are divided into the group. Planning is more important to work together or different model. The RAD model consists of the business modeling, data modeling and process modeling, application generation, testing, turnover. Next है आपकी PMS for Project Management System has the capacity to help plan, organize and manage resource tools and develop resource estimate depending on the sophistication of the software. It can manage estimation and planning, scheduling, cost control and budget management, resource allocation, corporation, software communication, decision making, quality management, time management and documentation or administration system, numeric PC and browser-based project management software and contract management software produce the series of availability. कंप्यूटर बेस्ड आर्किटेक्चर इसमें है एस्पेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग. ये क्या होता है? इज programming paradigm that aims to increase the modularity of the allowing the separation of cross-cutting component. It does so by adding additional behavior to exit code. The code itself instance or separation specification which code is modified. UI point out cut specifications such as long all function call when the function's name begin with set. This allow behavior that are not central to the business logic such as logic to be added to a program without cutting the code functionalities. तो ये सब आपका इसमें आता है. नेक्स्ट है आपका सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग एंड फॉर्मेट मेथड. ये क्या होता है आपका फॉर्मेट मेथड? क्या होता है ये देखिए. एवरी सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग मेथडोलॉजी इज बेस्ड ऑन द रिकमेंडेशन डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस pursuing through the server phases analysis, specification, design, coding, unit testing, integration and system testing, maintenance. A formal method can be a foundation or description complex system, be a foundation of resourcing about system, provide supports for program development and complementary approach to methodology. What are the formal method and formal method techniques and tools based on mathematics and formal logic and can assume various form and layer of right or Optional mathematical notation embedding in English specification, fully formal specification language with a precise symmetric. Why consider formal method and system are increasingly dependent on the software component in complexity of software of system with embedded software has increased rapidly and maintaining reliability in software intensive system is very difficult system complexity time. थैंक यू गाइस। अगर वीडियो अच्छी लगी हो तो प्लीज़ लाइक करें, शेयर करें और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें।